Good morning. Welcome back to Breakfast with Tiffany, where we tell the truth before the world wakes up, where we sit at the table with our whole selves and nobody has to shrink. Not today. This episode is personal for me because softness didn't always feel safe. And the feelings I avoided the longest, they weren't anger, sadness, or even fear. I learned how to carry those. It was happiness, joy, celebration, the bright, fluffy stuff. When you grow up in places where shining too hard makes you a target, joy isn't something you trust. Joy becomes something you hide, something you protect, something you keep tucked deep down in your pocket like money, because somebody might try to take it. So today, we're talking about sitting with your emotions instead of escaping them. Choosing gentleness after years of survival mode. And learning that being soft isn't a liability. It's a luxury. And it's yours. So let's start here. What emotion have you avoided the longest and why? For me, it was happiness, for sure. Joy, light, and when I say that out loud, it sounds weird, but it's real. I grew up in the hood, okay? The projects specifically. Arlington Courts in Dayton, Ohio. If you know, you know. And let me tell you, if you had something nice or you looked too happy about your life, somebody was watching. Somebody was plotting on you and your family. Attention was dangerous. So I learned young, don't shine too hard, don't smile too big, don't celebrate out loud. Joy had consequences. Happiness needed camouflage. And then there was this adult I'll never forget who I overheard say, she thinks she all that. I wasn't even doing anything but being a happy little girl. But that comment, it stuck. It stuck for a long time. And when I heard that comment, I thought, oh, okay. Being happy makes people uncomfortable. Being proud makes people talk. Being joyful gets you judged. So I dimmed my light, scaled it back a bit, and began second guessing myself. And little by little, I grew this armor that followed me into friendships, into relationships, into womanhood. I was still kind, still sweet, but guarded. Like joy was a door I couldn't leave open. That's how, as a grown woman with bills, responsibilities, and business acumen, I could complete a whole cybersecurity program and tell nobody. What was a course? I got accepted into a program and I completed a cybersecurity course. But anyway, I didn't tell anybody. I told maybe like one or two people, probably my mom and dad, and that was it. I kept that tucked inside of me like it was a bad thing. Like it wasn't an accomplishment. And it wasn't until my friend said, I think she saw a picture of me and somebody else's picture who was also in the program. And she was like, you was in a cybersecurity program and you didn't tell nobody? Like, who does that? And that's really how she talked. And I didn't even have a response to her question. But In that moment, I realized how deeply I've been taught to hide the good things. And now I'm curious. Did you learn to hide your wins too? You accomplished something and act like it wasn't a big deal? Like, yeah, I did that and kept it moving? Downplayed your progress so no one would question it, envy it, or try to take it from you? I'm asking because I know I'm not the only one. And that brings me to softness and how hard it was to let myself get to this point. There was a long stretch of my life where being soft felt reckless in so many words. It was dangerous. It was like an open wound. It honestly felt foolish. Softness meant letting your guard down, letting people close. Ooh, yeah, no. And where I'm from, that is not a luxury we were given. And the crazy thing is, the comment about me thinking that I was all that, it echoed for years. I didn't want to be seen as too happy, too proud, too anything. So I became the girl who smiled politely, but kept you 10 feet away. I could love deeply, but I didn't trust too easily. I could make you feel safe whole time. I never even felt safe. I was guarded for quite some time. But that changed. Oh God, that changed. My pregnancy changed me completely. I remember the first moment I found out I was pregnant. I remember standing in the shower and thinking to myself that I can't pass this down. I cannot raise a child who thinks joy is dangerous. I cannot hand my son trauma wrapped in silence. So I began to melt slowly, but I started to melt. And I softened because he deserved better. And so did I. I started allowing myself to feel things again. I became warm. I felt safe. And if you can relate, when did softness first feel unsafe for you? And what moment invited you back into it? Now that I'm learning to feel, the next step is learning how to manage those feelings without letting them ruin my life. Because that's definitely possible. And I'm gonna be real with you. When you grow up in survival mode, feelings can feel loud, like uncomfortably loud. But feelings aren't meant to consume you or to drive the car. They're meant to ride on the side and tell you what's going on inside. But they shouldn't have the keys to the car. Just last month, I spoke on a panel, my very first time, so a huge milestone for me. And my first instinct was, don't tell nobody. I don't want nobody to come. I don't invite nobody. No, I just want to do this by myself and get through this alone. Like that old survival voice came up real quick. But then I took a breath. And I sat in that emotion. I sat with that voice. And I asked myself, why? Why go through this alone? Why not share it? Why not tell anybody about this? And I let myself be proud. I posted it on social media. I put it on Facebook. And I told maybe one or two people. And so that's growth. That's a growth. We're going to clock the T for growth. And I allowed myself to celebrate that win. And I'm still celebrating that win. So I want you to ask yourself, how do you honor feelings without letting them lead your life? And that leads me into what softness looks like for me now. So softness today, it doesn't look like weakness. It actually is wisdom. It looks like slow mornings. And it also looks like me telling myself that you did enough today. You did well. It also looks like celebrating my wins and starting a podcast and not hiding my gifts and talents and things. It also looks like raising a child who sees his mother living with softness and not fear. And that's an area that I'm still growing in. I'm definitely still growing in that area. And gentleness also looks like me being reflective and me being proud of the progress I've made thus far. I spent years being called strong. People praised it. My daddy especially. That man swear I'm Mulan or something. And people admire it. Hell, I even admire it sometimes. But I wasn't strong. I was surviving. Resilient, yes, but surviving nonetheless. Strength isn't silence. Strength isn't suffering without support. Strength isn't carrying it all alone. It's being soft enough to feel and wise enough to stay grounded. True strength is saying, I deserve joy. I deserve to celebrate my wins. And I deserve rest. And I'm unlearning that strength has to look like struggle. Because who wants to do that? Now it looks like softness with boundaries and joy without apology. So as you continue throughout your week, name that emotion that you've been avoiding the longest. And talk about why. Journal about it. Tell somebody about it. And also, if the emotion you've been avoiding is happiness, pick one place in your life where you've been hiding your joy and let it breathe. Celebrate something. Name something you're proud of. Give yourself credit for something you kept tucked away. Joy is not a liability. It's a light. And nobody gets to steal what God placed in you. Until next time, keep choosing softness. It will strengthen you more than survival mode ever did.